All right, what's going on? It's the shadow boxing technical analysis dog. Was going to do a video today, but interesting tape, some new entries on the charts. We'll look what happened in the markets. Also, we'll be doing a video tomorrow, so I want to get this one in. Also, going to do something a little bit special for Friday because it's month end, but it's also the first half year end. And this is something I do. It's also the end of the quarter. But I want to see what trends, best trades basically on the long and short side have persisted from Jan 1 through today. Typically, those are going to have some meat to the bones. There's going to be some window dressing and performance chasing into the end of the year. It's not going to be much surprise. It's going to be your Bitcoins, your semis to the higher, to the to the upside and to the downside. Probably some geographic shorts like a Brazil or Mexico and things like that. So I'll compile it together and have a little bit of a recap on Friday. Something I do for myself, and I'm sharing the wealth with y'all. All right, but for today, let's see what happened. Today was really all about growth, Japan, and Bitcoin. We've been talking about it. And then on the downside, real estate materials got hit pretty hard here. There was a little bit of a drop in rates, and real estate went down anyway. So let me share the screen here and see exactly what precipitated today in the markets. All right, so growth, Japan, and Bitcoin, like I said, lead markets higher while real estate and materials drag. Growth, they snapped right in to buy it. Really pretty bullish behavior to me, to be honest. I was saying before how we're thinking of a bottom around in SPY. I'll refer to as a 535, 537 or so over the next 2 weeks or so. This was bullish behavior. XLC actually made a new 52-week high today, which is the communications sector ETF, which is comprised very heavily of Meta and Google. They're still buying mega cap tech. It's just not right now Microsoft. And even though they were buying the NVIDIAs, it was just impressive to me to see XLC actually rise and make a new 52-week high when we're in a bit of just a digestion phase. The VIX was down 2%. Nothing bad is happening here, even though you saw some small caps really get hit. So yeah, growth up almost 1.5%. Japan doing a little bit better. Bitcoin really ripped through this specific ETF. The IBA up 4.5%, and then down. They really didn't love today real estate, anything real estate related. Real estate was down 1.5%. The home builders were out much more, out 3%. Materials were down 1.33%. China was down 1.25%. Maybe some data out of there, and then Chinese internet getting a little bit worse, down 1.5% or so. And then some new on the bottom here, as you can see, best three absolute trades of the week. They're all on the short side, which is interesting. We'll see if there is some more to it. It's short solar, short crypto, Bitcoin specifically, even with the rally today, and short semiconductors. So let's see. First up, let's go to an intraday chart of the Spizzle. So cool, aren't I? All right, hang on. Let me do the other screen. Hi, we'll ask Rocco what to buy, what to sell. He says buy everything. I think he's right. Not buy everything, but you know what I mean. I'd rather be buying than selling. So this intraday chart, low volume again today. I believe SPY finished with what, 31 million shares. So this is really just kind of typical summer. It's really pretty low. Never sure the dull market though. View up is here. The orange line. It's pretty surprising. Again, bullish behavior. Actually wanted to get to 200-day or 200 bar moving average on a short-term technical analysis basis, and we hit a high at 3:30 p.m. And just came off a little bit under that. So surprising strength. Bigger picture, as I said. Let me zoom that out. Bigger picture, as I said, I just see a little bit of a consolidation of digestion phase down to about 537-ish. 536, 538 thereabouts. So about what is that? 537, $7. 1.5% or so, something like that over the next 2 weeks to digest that is what makes sense to me. All right, that's what it looks like from the charts. The same way we saw semis getting super on sale. The charts hold us that. It's the same thing I'm seeing in the SPY. Trying to work off and, just have a little bit of a healthy, I don't even want to call it a correction, but a consolidation. Okay, let's see what happened to growth specifically. Today, they really gobbled it up, this specific ETF. There's a bunch of them, but XLK, Qs. The Qs were up 1.1 alone, but VUG was the big one today, up 1.4. You saw NVIDIA up 6%. I own NVIDIA, full disclosure, so I was enjoying that. I also own GBTC, so I was enjoying that. So let's take a look at this. Growth looks like it is in a great place. Like I said, XLC is a part of growth with Meta Google. I was surprised I made new 52-week high today. This looks great. It's almost after 1 day wearing off its overbought. It's almost just about to recoup it again. It's trading at 70 here on the 14-day RSI. I still see this emblematic of the larger market. I see this kind of being distributed, not accumulated right now to 364. This was nice and lets me know of more bullishness for months to come. 52-week high for XLC is impressive. That they bought Meta and Google that much today, regardless of news or anything like that. But I see this kind of mean reverting down to about 365 or a $10 reduction or 2 times today's move, which would be a discount of, what is that, 2.8%. So it might feel like it hurts and the people are going to be flocking and getting out of the space. It's not true. Buying opportunities, I think you'll get in the next 2 weeks, especially if this gets closer to 365. Okay, EWJ, haven't seen this one in a little bit. They gobbled up Japan today. Not a great looking chart. Peak back here, March 22nd, bounced off of or came close to the 200-day moving average. This looks like it wants to be accumulated. I think it wants to run into traffic closer to that $69 mark up here. I think it's going to be kind of magnetized to get to that. Would be a nice move though, $1.40 or so. So you can get, maybe 2% to the upside. Tougher trade playing EWJ, but you can do it. This looks like it's not the best place for dollars, but again, broadening rally, still a rising 200-day moving average, support down here at 65.40. I'm not desperate to throw money at it, as I think the larger domestic markets are in distribution mode for 2 weeks, but this could be a source of a trade. And then let's look at, it's IBIT that had a big move today, but they all did, all the Bitcoin ETFs. So BITO is here, 4.6. I go to this one for the chart due to the history, because the other ones all came out in January, and this one has more. So this peaked in March, right? Look at this. It tagged the 200-day moving average, something it hasn't done since October, all right? And it bounced right off of it pretty impressively with the 4.7%. What now? I think this wants to make a run at 25.5 or so. And we were talking about this, I think, a couple of days in the video. That'd be a monster run for Bitcoin. So potentially it started today with $1. But like I said, it's going to be tough because it's kind of going against the grain. You kind of need this to work for them to buy into Bitcoin and kind of not sell hand over fist on the market, but it would have to be this getting the main attraction. I think this can get to 25.40. So that's 210 or so, or 2 times today's move. That's almost like a 10% move in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin today is, I had it just on my screen. Was it 62 now? 62K. So 10%, would take it to 68 and then a bit of kind of shake out the weak hands. We'll see. It's possible. That's what I have to think in for Bitcoin right now. Probably a slowish move. Could be furious. Who the heck knows? But I think Bitcoin wants to make a run towards 68. It's currently trading 62 even. All right, for things they shellacked today. Real estate, the XLRE was hit hard today. The REITs were down as well, but this specifically the real estate sector, pretty range bound. Just seeing a 200-day, it's actually flat at 37.30 in this specific one. I think this wants to go lower. I think this may go as low as like 37. I think it wants to get pretty close and actually maybe even undercut the 200-day moving average. Basically what it did May 29th. Maybe that's too cute of trading, textbook trade prediction, if you will. But yeah, I think this goes low. I wouldn't want to buy this. And I think today could be a sign that it's starting to make its way lower. Okay, let's look at the home builders. If anything looks different or a possibility for a pairs trade where you buy one and sell the other. So this looks like it's going to go lower too. This was a better story. I like this one. It has more velocity to the upside, as you can tell. Just 200 moving average, but not a ton. This peaked in March. This looks like it wants to go to 104. Wait, am I looking at the right thing here? XHB. 1 second. Yeah, down. Wow, a big 2.8% today. Yeah, this I think 98. Sorry, is what I was looking at. 98. I think it's going to probably try and go a little bit lower, and this might freak people out. I was also seeing this is probably anecdotal, but there's a whole thing that the next leg of worries for the market is obviously the real estate. 50% or more people expect their real estate values to rise next year. Somewhere potentially in lines with the market. I don't think it's going to happen because AI is not built in your home just yet. And IoT and all those kinds of things have a bit mean revert. If you look at Schrodinger and all those kinds of trades. This looks okay, but I still think it just wants to go lower. I'm not going to gobble this up. I think it wants to go to 98. So a $3 move lower. It did half of the move today, 3%. So it's got more coming, I think. Let's look at the broader Materials sector, so they hit this one too, down 1.3%, pretty hard. It's funny, this is a very important point, the 90 even level for XLB. It's just where it's kind of oscillated around since, to be honest with you, since March. So it's it went above it a little bit to 93 and a little bit below it to 87, but it's been pretty range bound around 90 with which is just 21 EMA or exponential moving average, and then underlying support down here 85 with a rise of 200-day moving. So not a bad area for investment. I don't like that it obviously doesn't have momentum right now. It can't even really hold the 50 RSI on a 14-day. Stochastic momentum X trying to stabilize, going lower. It's going to get stuck around 90, 15, right around here. It's going to get pretty tired even if it makes a run. So I think you could put dollars on this, but it's not going to have a heck of a run. China got hit hard today. A share is the name. They got hit 1.25%. Let's see. So this has got sold down to. I have another chart where this is support. It's pretty surprising that it's breaking away so much from its longer term moving average, the 200-day. Still looking heavy here, although it did show some signs of trying to recoup it on May 1st, but looks like it was just a short term rotation. It's probably, I don't want to say it's a buy here, but have support going back to Valentine's Day. Okay, so you're going back to February, and that's off the lows. Kind of crazy. I don't like counter trading a whole lot, but this looks like you could probably get in at 23.5, and I think this could go to 24. You're just not going to make a ton in that. That's 50 cents, or almost 2% or so, 2ish. But you got to be careful with the options. But A share, they're starting to hit it, and they hit even more today. The K-Web, which was down more, K-Web down 1.5%. Let's take a look at this chart. This has a better story that I'd want to own. You can see this is not as heavy with the 200-day moving average, just basically flatlining. It is going down slightly. It's 27.02, 03.02. So that is your, lower support. It probably comes pretty close to that. So if what I said, well, I'll start over. This needs a little bit of time. I don't think it goes a ton lower. I think it is at support. Could go lower, but I do think this wants to bounce better to 29. If I had to buy something versus China or K-Web, I'd buy this, which has, showing more relative strength. Woof. All right, top 5 gainers of the past 5 days. No repeats from any other charts. XLE, the best long in the market over the last 5 days. No, I didn't say oil. I said XLE. So they have gone into the energy stocks. We were talking about this bifurcation. Look at this. 2 beautiful tags of the 200-day moving average. Something they didn't give you since, Valentine's Day reference. It looks like I'm in love. But yeah, February 14th was the last time it undercut 200-day moving average. It did that for just 2 days here and then springboarded back. Here, I don't love the lower highs. It's trying to do it here. What happens? I think it's going to get really tired at 92. It had a smallish move. I think it took a lot of energy to do this from 87.5 to where I see it getting to 92 over the next week or so, maybe 94. I know that sounds like a crazy jump, but I don't think it's going to get there. I'm just looking at probabilities in the charts. Okay, CopX, or copper miners, the second best long in the market, up 3.5%, basically almost the same as energy. So commodity leading the longs here. It's funny, I had just saw a notification alert on a reversal buy from a data provider I have on another screen here, and it triggered it here. So, but it's down 1.8% today. Basically, there's a bunch of reasons why. But anyway, rising 200-day moving average just has nice velocity to it. This is actually going up by a nickel or so a day. So you have your rising support here, which will catch up. Geez, this is a little bit tough because of the volatility of it. I think this could get to 48. It was down almost 2% today. That was a pretty healthy move down. I think this wants to try and make a gasp at 48. And if you get some kind of, like I said, sell-off in the markets to the tune of 2%, they could flock to something commodities, based, and copper miners, which would do it. And it's got some momentum here from 43 to about, 45 in the past week or 3%. All right, let's see the biotechs. I took a little bit of pain on this today. See, they're all not winners. I'm long the ARCG. ARCG didn't go crazy. In fact, let me see what it did. I have it on the screen. RG is actually down 1.5%. So I actually won out with this. The IBB is down 0.33 today. But the reason why we're talking about it is because it's the third best long in the market over the past week, or up 3%. As you can see right here, pretty jump from 134 to 139, 140 or so. Now, what I think that was a nice little gasp. I think this wants to go to 135. I think that was a little bit nosebleed. Pretty crazy. We actually talked about this in the video 3 days ago. We said maybe this makes it not quite a run to 52-week highs. And look at that. It tried really, really close. The actual 52-week high was struck February 27th at 141.16. Today, it got to 141 even and then actually closed negative. So pretty telling. It's almost like a bearish engulfing enclosure if it actually swallowed up the entire bar, but pretty bearish behavior. Tells me I think it wants to go to it trades to 136. That would be even better for my RFG trade, which I like that. All right, dubs or Mexico. Yo quiero Mexico. Let's see. So Mexico is the fourth best long in the ETF space for the past week, or up 3%. So this is some mean reverting, although today was down almost 90 bips. So now what? I still think this makes a slow move towards 59.5 or so. I think it wants to get to here. Let me say right around here. I think there's a meaningful conversion of points here. I think it wants to get that. That would be a pretty big gain. I think it has to. You guys see where it goes over the next week. I think it wants to head there, which would be a nice profit of what is that? $2.20. It's a nice move. It would be nice. Probably an easier trade if you had much of like the geo markets participating at the same time. Looks like it could be though, because the next name on the chart is actually Brazil. So Brazil up just slightly behind. Mexico is up 2.33%. So let's see now what. This has not been a great story. As you can remember, not many charts look like this, with 52-week lows being struck in June for a country. So they finally worked off of their oversold conditions. And now we are at a 35 RSI. Now what? So kind of similar to what we saw in Mexico, but it takes time to unfold. I see this going to about 28.5 or $1 higher from here. You can get, that's not bad. Was that 3-4%? But this one's going to take time. You're betting on, kind of a beat up horse, which this thing hasn't really looked good since May. It's gotten beaten up. It's not just failed. It's really not looked good. So, but it is being scooped up here. It is the fifth best long, up 2.33%. We'll see, although today down 1.4. Okay, top 5 losers of the past 5 days. No repeats. The solar ETF is not only the biggest short, the best short in the market right now for the past week, is the best overall trade, down almost 8% over the past week. That's extraordinary. Today was down 3%. One of the main constituents I actually had as a major short was Sedge, or Solar Edge Technologies. I think they were down something like 15% to new 52-week lows or something like that, either today or yesterday. So this continues to go lower. It's funny, I really trusted, or just not trusted, but it was a very meaningful level, the 200-day moving average, and it's rounding out at 45.85. And now you can see we are 10% below that, right? Or so. We had said that, I think there's a phrase, from fake moves come fast moves, or from false moves come fast moves. Yeah, I'll credit Brian Shannon with that. But yeah, and it went from 49 to 41 in just, like a week and a half. So this is kind of what we were saying. This could be big to the downside. So now what? I think support will step in. It could go a little bit lower because you had a kind of a thrust here, but it could go to 40.5. I don't see much worse than that. So around 40.5. I don't say, I want to say scoop it after that. But if you do get a kind of coordinated, global rally, and there's a broadening, you could see that move. If it does get to, 40, 41, you could see that move try to get magnetized to its 200-day moving average of 46, and this could be a play. So interesting one. I don't know. It's just an interesting security. All right, Bitto, we already did. Bitto is the second biggest loser in the market, short by 7.5% over the past week, so no bueno there. And then semiconductors, SMH, the third biggest loser, or 4%. So we were looking at this in yesterday's video. Nothing wrong with this chart, man. It hit highs, just 5 days away, 5 days ago, for goodness sakes. We were saying all along this has to be redigested basically at 255. Look what happened. The low yesterday, 256. The low today, 256. And now what? 262. Usually with strong superstar type names like this, you get about 2 chances or so. Not saying that that's it. I think you'll get more actually, but in one fell swoop, kind of that's it. You saw Nvidia up 6% today, right? So that was a lot of this. What happens now? It may make another like flash crash type move towards 240. That would really freak some people out. We'll see. I believe Micron earnings are today or tomorrow or something. You'll get a catalyst in a name like this. I think it could have a flush lower. 240 would be $20 or like 8%. That'd really freak people out and shake some weak hands before we go in fact higher. ITB, I think we did this already. No, that's the home construction, one of the bigger losers. So down 4% in the past week. We technically looked at similar to this earlier with the home builders ETF and materials and real estate. But let's see. So this has monster resistance at 110, like monster. I know it may not look like it because we were here, but just overall it has not spent many days over 110. Like ever. Okay, the highs were back in March at 116, but it looks like a flash in the pan. It does have a rising 200-day moving average. Reports down there at 97. I think this is the beginning of a slower move towards 97, and then a bounce higher, but it's going to be range bound under 110. So that's, I think, what's going to happen there. And then Chinese internet we already looked at. Okay, so best three absolute trades of the week: short solar, short Bitcoin, short semiconductors. If you were in those, congrats. And no video tomorrow, and we will do a big quarter end, month end, half year end, 1H end for Friday. Probably gonna have some beer here. All right, peace.